to play in Canada. Definitely, is high up in there. Being close to home, easy for family to travel to Toronto and come watch games and stuff, not having to go through the border for them. Just really happy to join the Blue Jay family, and looking forward to the opportunity, and also just doing everything that's in my power to help this team.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sportsnet Central Montreal. Another off-season, another major signing by the Toronto Blue Jays. This time it's Montrealer catcher Russell Martin for insight on the move. We bring in Stephen Brunt. The Jays paid big money for Martin, so what does he bring to the team that they need?
I think he brings a bunch of things that well, at least they think he's going to bring a bunch of things that they do need. He's, number one, a superior defensive catcher, so he's going to make their pitching staff better, especially the young starters they're going to be relying on again this year, Marcus Stroman, Drew Hutchison, probably Aaron Sanchez. They like the way he operates behind the plate, they like the way he holds runners, and they like the way he frames pitches. He's an athletic catcher. He can play other positions. So you might, at some point this year, see Russell Martin playing in the infield, maybe in the outfield. He gives them some versatility. They like his athleticism a lot, but they also like, and I usually put no stock in this stuff, but if you look at what the Jays have done this offseason, obviously they do. They got rid of some guys who could still play, but they didn't like them in terms of the kind of dynamic of the clubhouse, the chemistry in the clubhouse. They brought in Russell Martin in part because they like him as a person. They like the kind of effect he's going to have on the clubhouse, and because he's played with winning teams. He's been in the postseason. So they're counting on him for, a real change in clubhouse culture as well.
Hey, some big names on that Blue Jays roster. Also some very big paychecks that will be being paid. Martin is making more than $20 million when he's 36 years old. Don't you think that's a little bit too much money for an old catcher?
Well, I guess it's it's what the market determines. Again, I think they look at him and they say this guy is athletic. He's not going to break down. We don't think he's been very durable, and I think they look at him as a guy who looks after himself. But it's a very taxing position. It could be by the end of this deal he's not a catcher anymore. He's a DH or he's playing in the field somewhere. But the other thing about that contract is they backloaded the money. And they've done that for a reason. They're up against kind of a self-imposed salary cap the next couple of years. They have a lot of salary, but a lot of that salary is off the books after 2016. So they will have some flexibility in what would figure to be the later years of Russell Martin's career. Right now he's not getting paid. This year coming up, he's not going to get paid anything near that amount of money. But that might allow them to bring in some other players and do some other things before opening day.
The last couple of seasons, the Jays have made these big, splashy moves. Do you think this is the one that might finally get them over the hump?
Well, there's still some questions to be answered before we get there. They've got a couple obvious issues to deal with, one in the infield, either a second baseman or a third baseman. They got to figure out who's going to close. They got to figure out who's going to play left field if Melky Cabrera isn't there. So let's talk about that again in April, when we know what this team really looks like. But I like the Martin move a lot, and baseball people like the Martin move a lot. I think it's a really important step. But we're a long way, and we're certainly a long way from the end of a 162-game season.
All right, well, I'll catch up with Martin and yourself a little bit later. Thanks a lot for shining light on this, Stephen. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Wilder.